Hey Grizzlies, this is Mrs. Sandoval, College and Career Advisor here at McMinnville High School. In this video, I'm going to talk a little bit about the steps after completing the FAFSA and the ORSAA, and then also review some financial aid awards. After you complete the FAFSA and the ORSAA, you want to make sure that you're checking your email, your mail, and your college student portals regularly. You will receive information on next steps through either all of those or one or the other. So make sure that you are checking all of those regularly. If you completed a FAFSA, you will get an email confirmation, and you'll also receive an email once your FAFSA is processed. You may be selected for verification or your FAFSA may be rejected. Don't panic. We'll discuss that here next. So if you're selected for verification, it's something that happens to about 1 in every 3 students. Students are randomly selected. You will need to provide additional documentation, and each college has its own verification process, but it's all fairly similar. If possible, you can return to your FAFSA and use the IRS data retrieval tool to transfer the student and parent information from the IRS website directly onto the student's FAFSA. If that's not possible, just make sure you follow the instructions that the college sends you. You may have to send in a copy of a tax return or something like that. If your FAFSA was rejected, it means that some of the information either on your FSA ID or the FAFSA was incorrect. That could be possibly a wrong date of birth or social security number. Maybe you accidentally typed it in wrong. Maybe your name is not exactly how it appears on your social security card. So you want to make sure that it's what shows on your social security card. If your card has 2 last names, make sure that your FAFSA and your FSA ID have both of those last names. Or perhaps maybe your FAFSA was not signed. So once your FAFSA or ORSAA is processed and you have been accepted to the colleges you applied to, then you will get financial aid award letters. So the award letters will be based on the information that you put on your FAFSA and ORSAA and on the application as well. They will include scholarships, grants, and loans. It's important to apply to multiple colleges to be able to compare financial aid awards. So we always recommend that students apply to a community college, even if it's just as a backup option, and make sure that you add that college to your FAFSA or ORSAA. If you are eligible based on your GPA, grades, and you meet the admissions requirements, we really recommend that you apply to both public and private colleges, again, so that you're able to compare financial aid awards letters in the spring. So understanding financial aid awards, we're going to review some examples from local colleges. You will notice that they all have the same type of information. So even though the format may be a little bit different, they all contain the same information. These are just examples. You need to apply to the college and add the school to your FAFSA or ORSAA in order to get your specific financial aid award. So now let's take a look at some examples. We're going to start off with an example from Linfield University here in McMinnville. And you can see on here, this is an example of on-campus housing. It lists the tuition and charges and the total there. And then it also lists the financial aid. So it includes some scholarships specifically for Linfield, a grant, a federal grant, so that it comes from completing the FAFSA, the opportunity grant, Oregon Opportunity Grant, that is from completing the FAFSA or the ORSAA, and then some loans. So it includes that information there, and then it has the total of what you might have to pay out of pocket. And you can work with the financial aid office to see if there's a way to do monthly payments or things like that. You can also look at the cost here for living on camp or off campus, excuse me. So you remove that room and board, and then you no longer have to take this Parent Plus loan, for example. And so that is an amount that you might have to pay. Let's move on to OSU. This is what their financial aid award looks like. It has, again, the cost of attendance, which includes the tuition, room and board, books and supplies. It has the total there. And then it has the financial aid award at the bottom. And so it's broken down by gift aid, which is money that you don't have to pay back. And then it has work study and loans on there as well. Here are a few examples from Pacific University. First is an on-campus example, and this student received a presidential scholarship. So you can see on there, it has the cost, and then it has the scholarships and grants, and then it has loans separated. Here's another example. This student did not receive a presidential scholarship, as you can see. And then finally, here's an example of a student that's living off campus. So they have removed that room and board. An example from PSU. Here's an example of living on campus. So it lists the tuition, books and supplies, transportation, housing, and meals. And then it lists the grants and scholarships, and it has the net cost on there. And then this is an example of someone living off campus. We have an example from the University of Oregon. It has the cost of attendance up here. And then it has grants and scholarships, an opportunity for the work study program, and then some loans as well. Finally, an example from Western Oregon University. As you can see on here, it has the financial aid package. It's divided by the 3 terms. It has the total on there, and then it has the cost of attendance here, which includes the tuition, room and board. So as I mentioned before, all of these have the same type of information. It has the cost of attendance, including tuition, room and board, and any fees. And then it has the financial aid information that they are offering you. So you want to make sure that you are reviewing your financial aid package. Again, apply to multiple schools so that you are able to compare financial aid awards. And if you have any questions, make sure that you are reaching out to the financial aid office at the college, or you can also see us in the Success Center. Thank you.